Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. I hope you guys are staying safe at home with your family and staying healthy. So, the purpose of this video is about to discuss and answer the law question that have been given to us. Basically, the question is about Shafiq, who had entered a contract with his friend Hakim regarding the sale of his land in Jengka. A few days later, Shafiq and Hakim had an argument over personal matters. Unfortunately, Shafiq refused to transfer the land to Hakim. In order to prevent the transfer, Shafiq had formed a development company known as Pembiayaan Jaya Sendirian Berhad, and he transferred the land into a company. Hakim wished to bring this case to the court to compel Shafiq and the company to transfer the land to him. So, first thing of all, we want to discuss about the concept of separate legal entity, and we also want to know whether the court will leave the corporate veil pertaining to the transaction on the land. Without wasting our time, let's hear more explanation about this case from my friend.
Okay, we continue with a legal entity. What is meant by legal entity? Legal entity is an individual, organization or company that has legal right and obligation. What is concept of separate legal entity? Concept of separate legal entity is when the company become a body corporate that exists separately with its owner and distinct from its individual members or director. The corporation can be defined as a legal entity that be created using legal for the official purpose. When we look at Section 20, Subsection 1A Company Act 2016 state that a company that incorporated under this Company Act is a body corporated, and the company shall have legal personality separate from its members. This clearly showed that business and owner or members of the business is two different entities. We go to another section, which is Section 182, Subsection 1, Company Act 2016, stated that a member should not be liable for an obligation of company by reason only being of a member of the company. Have you read about Solomon and Solomon's Co Limited cases? The facts of the case are, Mr. Solomon sold his shoe business to a company which he had set up for the purpose under Company Act. The member of the company consists Solomon and his family members, and registration of the company was completed under the Act. Mr. Solomon has received a fully paid shares and debentures valued at £10,000 which he subsequently assigned to another party. However, the business seemed to be declined and the company went to insolvent liquidation. The liquidator attempted to hold Mr. Solomon liable for the debt. They arguing that the whole transaction was fraud on the company creditor and Mr. Solomon should be not allowed to benefit. They claim that the company was an agent of Solomon. In the case, the Court of Lords held that once a company is incorporated, it becomes distinct from its member. Even though Solomon managed the company by himself, he does not own the company. He and the company were separate persons in law. Therefore, Solomon can advance money to the company and was entitled to be paid as a creditor. The other cases that can be related is Lee and Lee's air farming. In these cases, the court held the claim was allowed by the Privy Council by reason that Lee and the company was a separate entity, so Lee was entitled to work for the company. We also can look cases Sunrise Sdn Bhd and First Profile Malaysian Sdn Bhd. The court held, in the eyes of law, a company is considered as a legal person. It is a persona of law. Therefore, the company is legal entity by itself. The company is recognized as an artificial legal person.
Assalamualaikum. So we go straight to the question given to our team, which is with reference to the Company Act 2016 and decided cases. advise Hakim on the following: whether the court will lift the corporate veil pertaining to the transaction on the land. So first of all, what is exactly the meaning of the term lift the corporate veil? So the definition of lift the corporate veil is ignoring the corporate personality and looking behind the real person who are in the control of the company. In other words, where fraudulent and dishonest use is made of the legal entity, the individual concerned will not be allowed to take shelter behind the corporate. Under the lifting the veil, there are three types of exceptions, which are judicial exception, statutory exception, and the third one is criminal and tort liability. So we go through one by one, discussing discussing meaning and also definition, the concept of the type of exception. The first one is judicial exceptions. Judicial exceptions have 6 ways which the court can use to lift the veil, the corporate veil, which are using company for evade legal obligation, hide true facts, agent attribution, and also group of company. So for the statutory exceptions is relating to rules or law which has been formally written down. And the last one is criminal and tort liability, which can be defined as responsibility of any illegal behavior that cause harm or damage to someone, and also civil wrong resulting in legal liability for the person who commit a tortious act, including violating a person's right. So we go back to the questions given to our team. Shafiq v Hakim cases. So we have read that. So conclusion the Shafiq v Hakim cases is under judicial exception, which is using company for evade legal obligation, or also known as fraud. So what is using company for evade legal obligations? Generally, so it is using the company to do something that are unlawful, and also intention to manipulate other people, so that it also can use to avoid legal obligation. So next up, we go to the cases which are related to our question. We found out that the cases related to this is Jones v. Liebman. So long short story, these cases is about the gentleman Liebman makes contract to sell her house to Jones. Out of nowhere, I don't know, Liebman changed his mind and refused to carry out the contract. Surprisingly, the Liebman formed a company and transferred the land into the company. From what the action he made, he give the reason so that he can give the reason to Jones that the land belonged to the company, so that he can void such consequence for his action. Aftermath the event, the court said it was attempt to manipulate the doctrine for personal gain. The court lifting the corporate veil, Ikhwan and the company as the same entity and being liable for his action. The court ordered to transfer the house to Jones. The court have right to perceive the will and make the culprit personally liable. So that's the case Jones versus Ikhwan. There are other cases which related to this question, which are Guilford Motor Company v Horn, and also this one LAW346 C240. Okay, that's all from me. Assalamualaikum.
Like Zain mentioned before, the body corporate a separate entity with an assistance that doesn't depend on the identity of its members. In the case of Salomon and Salomon Limited Company, the court held that once a company is incorporate, it becomes distinct from its members. Applying to the Shafiq situation, he and his company, Pemindahan Jaya Sdn Bhd, were separate person in law, which is supported by Section 20, Subsection 1, Subsection A, Company Act 2016, state that the business and owner or members of the business is two different entities. In order to prevent Hakim get the land, Shafiq breached the contract by transfer it to his company Pemindahan Jaya Sdn Bhd. Once incorporate, a company acquires a legal personality which is separate it from the members. Any problems arising from the association will be dealt with the company only. Shafiq is not liable for the obligation of the company merely and cannot be sued by Hakim because Shafiq is a member of the company. This situation is known as the veil incorporation. Actually, in this situation, Shafiq is using the company Pemindahan Jaya Sdn Bhd to do something he himself could not personally do. This is clearly against the veil purpose of providing the corporate veil. The company was merely a front of to conceal the real ownership of the land. This will bring the exception to the doctrine of separate legal entity. So, for the conclusion, Hakim can sue Shafiq and the company both. The court will view the whole situation as an attempt the doctrine for personal gains. The court should leave the corporate veil and making Shafiq and the company were regarded as the same entity. Both Shafiq and the company were liable and ordered to transfer the land to Hakim. That's all for our discussion today. Selamat Hari Raya and stay safe. Stay at home.